Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Bex here today. Back in October, when it became evident that my city was not going to have their annual library book sale, I still wanted to take that energy and that excitement and apply it to finding books elsewhere. So I decided to go to some thrift stores near me, Value Village and Goodwill, see what I could find. And I had such good luck that I'm here today to share those books with you because there's 7 of them. And in the past, when I have gone thrift store book shopping, I'm lucky if I find one. I definitely go for quality over quantity these days. So although there might have been some other books there that would have been interesting to some degree, I was trying to find books that I know I was interested in reading or I'd heard people say really good things about. And so I really lucked out this time, and I'm excited to share my finds with you. I went to Value Village first because they have a bigger selection and it's usually a little better organized, so it's a little easier to kind of find the genres that you're interested in. And I was scrolling through the fiction area, and when I saw this book, I was like, if I find no other books today, this was a good find. I found The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. This book was published in July of this year, and I found it at Value Village. It looks brand new. I don't know if the person who got this book even read it, or if they did, they must have kept very good care of it because there's not even like a bend in the dust jacket. Emma Donoghue is the author of Room, The Wonder, and a few other books. I have read Room, loved it, and I really enjoyed The Wonder as well. This book takes place in a hospital in Dublin in 1918. So we have the end of World War I and the rise of the Spanish flu. And there are 3 women whose stories become interconnected in this hospital on the maternity flu ward. So it's filled with women who are pregnant and also sick with the flu. So it sounds like it was going to be a very intense story, really bringing these 3 women's lives together. And it's not very long either, so I imagine it'll be a pretty intense ride. Another surprise that I found this time on the nonfiction shelves was This Is Going to Hurt: Secret Diaries of a Junior Doctor by Adam Kay. This is a book I've seen a lot of UK booktubers talking about. Adam Kay was training as a junior doctor in the United Kingdom, and he kept a diary journal of his experiences, and this seems to be a summation of that. So it sounds like it's going to be very sad and frustrating, but also balanced with a lot of humor. I was sort of flipping through it last night when I was looking at these books again, and the dedication says, "To James for his wavering support, and to me, without whom this book would not have been possible," which I find funny because, you know, it's true. Without Adam Kay, this book would not have been possible. So I feel like that gives me a good idea of what I'm going to be getting into with this book. This just seems like the kind of nonfiction book that I would really enjoy reading in a single day. The next book I spotted was Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. This is a psychological thriller that I saw Emily from Books with Emily Fox talking about only a few days before I spotted this in Value Village, and she seemed to really enjoy it. And considering she's read a number of psychological thrillers, she said this one was definitely on the better side of them, and that made me excited because I definitely read a few psychological thrillers in my day, and none of them have really captured me as much as I wanted them to. Maybe a few I read a long time ago, but I'm hoping this one will really get, you know, that plot twist, that eventual plot twist will get me. This is about a woman who wakes up every day and she doesn't know where she is. I don't even know if she remembers who she is. She has trouble forming new memories, and so every day her husband has to tell her that, you know, she's a woman in her 40s. There was an accident 20 years ago that makes it difficult for her to form new memories. Her husband goes off to work. She gets a call from her doctor who tells her, "You're keeping a diary, go read the diary." And it sounds like we're going to slowly unravel what exactly happened, all of these questions about her life and what's going on with this, because it sounds like everything is not as it seems. I believe there's also a film of this now, so if I like the book, or even if I don't like the book, I could watch the movie and do a little book to film comparison. Speaking of book to film comparisons, I could also do that for The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This is one of those books that I have seen everywhere for years, and I just never had that push to pick it up, and I finally decided now was the time. This one is a memoir about the family that Jeannette Walls grew up with. Very dysfunctional, very unique. Her parents, her father specifically, was a really charismatic man who loved teaching his kids about different things, but he was also an alcoholic, and when he drank, it was not good. And their mother was a free spirit who hated the idea of domesticity and staying home and taking care of a family. So Jeannette and her siblings were left to care for each other and really raise themselves. And so, although it seems like Jeannette loved her parents, she also has to recognize the struggles that they put their own kids through. And I've heard that this story is very frustrating because of the amount of things that the kids have to deal with on their own, but I think it will also make for a very interesting memoir. The last book that I found at Value Village made me so happy because when I was walking in there, I was thinking, you know, I should go to the children's section just to see if I can find Nevermore, because that's a book everyone's been talking about, and it's been out for a couple of years now, so it's possible that there might be a copy of it on the shelves. And I was looking through all those super colorful books, and over on the right-hand side, tucked into the very corner edge, almost hidden by the end display on the shelves, was Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is The Trials of Morgan Crow. Specifically, this is the first book in this series, and this is a middle grade book that has been getting a ton of love on BookTube. I feel like I've heard the synopsis of this a bunch of times because everybody's been reading it and really enjoying it. Les is actually reading the third book right now, Hollow Pox. She got it from the library last night, was sending me Snapchats of how excited she was to read it. She was saying I might even read it in one night. She did not read it in one night, but I know she's reading it right now as I'm filming this video. So that really motivates me to pick this up. Plus the fact that it's middle grade, so I'll just breeze right through it. This is about Morgan Crow, who was born on Eventide, which is considered a very unlucky day to be born. She's blamed for all of the trouble that the people in her village, town experience, and she's doomed to die on her 11th birthday. But instead of dying, this person named Jupiter North shows up and whisks her away to this place where she has to participate in these trials to see if she can get into the Wondrous Society. It sounds very whimsical, very fun. This just seems like the kind of book that I could pick up and get lost in when I'm trying to forget the troubles of the world. And if I really like it, that's great because there's other books in the series. So at this point, I found 5 great books at Value Village. It was even a buy 4, get the 5th free. So I didn't even pay for Nevermore because that was the cheapest of the books. So I got that one for free. I was feeling really happy and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Goodwill. Just gonna see. Goodwill, generally, way less of a selection, not organized at all. So you never know what you're gonna find there. But I managed to find 2 more books that were worth picking up, and I mean, they're $3 a piece, so even if I don't love them, I paid $3 for them, it's fine. The first book that I saw was Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things by Jenny Lawson. This is a cover that I saw everywhere a number of years ago. It does have that shiny effect on it. Yeah, the camera's picking it up. You should be able to see that. It's a funny book about horrible things because Jenny Lawson has suffered from crippling depression and anxiety for a lot of her life, and she is writing about that in this book, but putting a humorous spin on it. I've heard people say it's one of the funniest books they've ever read, and although I'm not usually someone that's drawn to a humor comedy kind of book, this seems like it might be more my style. Never mind the fact that the book looks brand new, looks like no one's ever read it, and $3 at Goodwill. You can't beat that. The last book, when I saw it, I was so excited. All of the books were, of course, facing with the spines out, and so I was just scanning through them, and then I see this spine, which is, of course, very eye-catching, and I'm reading it, and I realize it's The Library Book by Susan Orlean. Beautiful hardcover edition, and I've had this book on my want to read shelf on Goodreads for a long time. So to see that there with this poking out. I actually made a little noise in the store. I kind of made like a little squeaky noise, and there were people around me. So they might have heard me make that noise because I was so excited when I found this. And of course I didn't want to scare people by reacting too much, so just had the little squeak come out of me instead. The library book starts with a fire in the Los Angeles Public Library in the 1980s that originally people thought was a false alarm, but actually ended up burning for 7 hours, destroyed thousands of books. And that sort of leads Susan into the conversation of the history of libraries and what they've meant to society up to this point. And I love a library. This is basically, sounds like it's going to be an ode to libraries. So I love that. And just, this was just like the cherry on top for my day of thrift store book shopping. Those are the 7 books that I found on my excellent day out book shopping. If you've read any of them, please let me know what you thought of them down below. Is there one that you think I should pick up first? Feel free to share your opinions. As always, all of our links are in the down bar. You can go check those out if you feel so inclined. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you later.